Okay, guys, it's 9th of July 2025, Crazy Revision with Kel, review of the US crude oil. Now, I like this topic because crude oil is one of my personal favorite. I mean, I made some good money back in 2011 when the crude oil shoot up from the $60 per barrel, went all the way to the 147 per barrel. Now, I remember that very clearly because it was 2011 and back then the dollar was crashing down. And the thing is this, we all know that our Singapore increased our this plane tickets by $5 because they added on the $5 surcharge. Now, I was just wondering out loud itself, if this would happen again, then what would it be adding? Would it be $25? I don't think so, right? It should be about $15. All right, so for those who have not traded long enough, maybe you know about this, I'll share with you today, and we can get into more information about how you can get this moving. All right, let's go. Now, the thing is this, let's have some news first. First of all, interestingly, the oil price actually surged up the last 2 weeks on a lower US output forecast, but I thought that the forecast actually indicated that there will be more. So interestingly, they said that there'll be lesser supply, but the more supply, sorry, but then the thing came out less supply. And now there's some Red Sea attack that's happening again. Interesting. So apparently, unfortunately, 4 crewmen was killed, and after that, 2 were wounded in the latest Red Sea attack. So question is the US stockpiles is down to 2.1 million barrels last week. That is a very low number. So all this actually speaks for itself that why the crude oil price is moving up a little bit. But let's look at more news itself. You can see over here that basically there is to expect to produce less oil, and also when that happen, let me just see anything else. We have India buying more oil to appease Donald Trump. Okay. All right. You need to buy oil to do that. Okay. And of course, Hamas thing is over, so don't talk about it anymore. Let me see any new latest news. I don't think they have any more. Let me just double check. Well, only the last one from Channel News Asia saying that the oil is lower, is higher because of the US import. Indonesia signed MOU, that is small thing. Okay, industrial report points gains. Okay, fine. All right, so the thing is this, before I see oil price, I want to see this one first, the Lockheed. Now, why I bring in Lockheed in? Because Lockheed is actually the one of the companies that do weapons for US. And remember back then they were coming down when the price was, I mean, was when the price was here, it came down, right? Then after that, it got itself recovered here. And I was very confident that we will see 491 on it, but we missed it just by a fraction before it pulled back again. Oh, what a waste. Okay, never mind. Well, because the thing didn't continue, right? The fight didn't continue, so that's why. Okay, the other company that I like to take a look is not drop. Now, not drop itself also tried to move up back then. It went at the high of the 1517 on the 8th. Then it pulls back down because of the war that ended, but now it's recovering. So I am still very optimistic that we'll see the 532 or 533 two level be traded by Northrop. They are also a weapon company, yeah. So do you think that the war has ended between Iran and Israel? Something just tell me isn't correct, but I just know how to put it into words. Yeah. So let's look at the crude oil instead ourselves. Okay, let's look at crude oil. Okay. Okay, so crude oil yesterday has continued to stay afloat. And you can see that now today is a doji directional day. So the OP will be very important at 68.51. So the upside today can be as high as 69.88. I repeat, today's high can be as high as 69.88. Why? Because you can see that after the OP, there's no more resistance until you see the pivot one. So this is quite scary. Second thing is that the KSI is green, despite the market is not really well or negativity, but the KSI is green and it has been green for days. So which means that right there is a very high chance that the oil price may go higher later on its own. And the thing is that the pivot 2 is 68.31, and just now this morning you have tested 68.31 at the bottom and then recovered. So again, this tells me that this market is now preparing to go higher because the MA30 is 68.30 has been triggered this morning also, and now it's gearing up again. So all this tells me that the crude oil price most likely will go up to 69.88 in the near term. All right, most likely it'll be like today lah. I think for with the news that or import and stuff like that, right, to go up to 68, I mean to go there itself is really very possible. Yeah. So watch out for the crude oil. Now, if crude oil goes higher, then what happens? Of course, that will create inflation worries once again. Now, the thing is this upside was done by the Iran, Israel, Hamas, I mean, attack, right? So we're taking this as not there first, but then we can still see that the market's now going to go back up to here again. So that's why I feel that you need to be very careful. If this market goes back up to where it came from, then this entire worry itself, right, will be a big dampener, especially to the market. All right, so that is my personal take for crude oil. Now, one thing to note, there is a diamond that created here 2 days ago, right? A diamond. So a diamond means we have put a line at the closing price, right? So the closing price line, make it be accurate on this. The closing price on that on this is to be Monday is 68.40. So put a 68.40 there. Okay. So you want to put the white line, yeah. So change the white line first. 68.40. Okay. Okay, 68.40, right? Okay, done. All right, so we can see that as long as the crude oil stays above 68.40, it will be above the diamond trade. So that is where the market should be able to go up to 69.88 in the near term. Okay, so that is the view on it with the combine of the diamond. Now, diamond is created when you have a KCX, then followed by a CCRY. Okay, then that is where the closing price is so sensitive that it will be utilized to gauge as a buy or sell signal. Okay, so that is the how we use the diamond to trade. And last one is the KCB, right? Which is something that you all like to see. Let me bring it into you right now. So now you can see on the KCB front, you can see that this was the black chocolate bar and the market really took it up very nicely. So it was here, right? Then after that, the market bottomed out. Then it went up first. It didn't. It pulled back down. But when it happened again, you see the market goes all the way exactly to where the thing happened previously. So now the thing is that we need for crude oil to stay firmly above here, 68.40 firmly, and then the next target can be as high as this $78. And that is crazy because where we are right now, we are now at $68. We are going to place that by $78 is further achievable. So that will give you exactly $10 of profit to make. Now, $10 profit to make is a lot of money because it can be it can be $100 if you trade small, but can be a big if you trade rather big. So with this thing here, I'm watching the 68.40 like a hawk like that. So if the US crude oil can stay above this figure, I think very safely you can see upside. Now the MLP that is somewhere around here, you watch out for. Okay, that is something. If the prices go up, it will stop around here itself. Okay. All right, guys. So that will be the crude oil charting. All right, to share with you how I view on crude oil. If all is good, it's all right. I wish you all the best and may make money from the market. Bye bye. I'll see you on Telegram later.